it is a matter of like mindset, of being open to the experience of making, and how do you allow yourself to just try it. I'm not inspired, or I just don't know what to make, or all of those things that we tell ourselves in the creative process. And I go back to like things like taking classes or doing tutorials. I still do tutorials all the time.
Welcome to Color Me Happy podcast. I'm your host, Brandi Hofer. Thank you so much for being here. I'm very grateful for your time, and I'm excited for you to dive into these raw and authentic conversations with creatives from around the world. Be sure to pop this in your ear when you're working in the studio and you need a friend, or if you're having your morning coffee, or if you're going on a walk. All good things to, get inspired through authentic conversation with other creatives. We ultimately want you to see your everyday ordinary as extraordinary, and really tap into the idea that creativity is power, and we want to see you grow. Be sure to join our Color Me Happy community. Follow Color Me Happy podcast on Instagram and Brandi Hofer Studios to stay tuned, and feel free to reach out anytime. We're happy to chat. Let's get started.
It means so much to like artists, educators, teachers that you show up for everyone. And obviously that's why you do really well, but it's not always easy. And that's what I can't wait to talk to you about.
Yeah. It's not always easy. I appreciate you saying that. It's a weird world when you can like reach so many people from just a room in your house.
Yeah,
but I do take it very seriously, and I appreciate the fact that people show up for me and want to watch what I'm doing, and it's always surprising to me that it happens that way.
Yeah. And I think and we'll talk about this more, but I think it's like really about consistency, and like sometimes you don't really feel like it, but you got to show up. And what I love about you is it is consistent, and you're like this, and you spray the palette, and like it taught me a lot about like, okay, get in there, like make that weird dorky face when you pull the, like, what I mean? You do have to like, try this.
Yeah.
And it's not like faking or inauthentic. It's just, it gets people excited, and they should be excited about art because you do take it very seriously.
Yeah. And I do think that does kind of come from being a preschool teacher for a long time, because the only way to like keep kids engaged is by like being kind of over the top a lot of the time, and like putting on a bit of a show. So that, and I would say that probably comes naturally to me anyway, but yeah, it is from years of being around 4-year-olds.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I want to dive into your history a little bit, and probably everyone's like, we know already, but that's okay. We're going to do it anyway. I don't know how much you talk about it, but we don't really need warm-up questions, but I'm going to do it anyway because I love to hear. I like to hear people's answers genuinely. So coffee or tea for you?
Coffee.
Yeah, you're into it. I just hopped on this train like this year, and like this morning I was thinking, I'm like, I wonder if they host coffee tastings where you could taste all the coffee versions and find your favorite, as I'm new to it. You know what I mean?
Well, okay, so we could make it even better if we did it like pairings with like pastries. Like try this particular coffee with this cookie, and then try this coffee with a Danish. Yeah. I would go to that
in France.
Yes.
At a patisserie.
Yes, I will go. I'll go with you. Where do you sign up?
Yeah, exactly. I just, because there's so many different types, and I'm like, maybe I do like dark. I don't know. I've been drinking medium roast.
You got to try it. We're really lucky that we moved last year, and we are like a half a mile from our town square, And so we walk to the town square, and there are multiple coffee shops on the square, but there is one coffee shop in particular that we go to like a couple times a week because you can sit outside and it's just really lovely. There's like a beautiful mural there. There's always birds, and they do the best coffee, and they have all like they roast their own, so they have like different coffees all the time.
Cool.
It's ideal. Yeah. It is.
I know, I'm trying to really like, I'm like, developers have to, like, this is where the artist imagination goes. They have to develop for every neighborhood a coffee shop with a little art thing. And like people will be the happiest people you'll have in this spot on earth.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's
every neighborhood should include with pizza and ice cream.
Yes, we have that too. Our coffee shop is called Cool Beans.
Oh,
it's
perfect.
Just best.
You're happy with your new move?
Yeah.
It was a good one.
It was great for the whole family, really. Yeah. So we like, I guess part of my background is that my husband and I own candy stores, and so we have a candy store on the square. So my youngest son is autistic, and he is almost 23. And so we moved right here.
What? Right? You have a 23-year-old son?
Yeah. I have an older son that's going to be 25 too. But yeah, so we moved to this particular spot so that my younger son could walk to work and have more independence, because there's like all kinds of stuff around us at this house. So it's been perfect, and we absolutely love living here. So yeah, I don't talk about the candy stores as much as I used to, because people will like show up at the candy stores and be like, where is she? And my husband's like, she's not ever going to be here.
She's making art.
She's at home in the art room, living a shut-in life.
Yeah. I know. We have a business, like a home building business, and I'm just like, I don't know anything about wood.
Yeah.
Like, I can't help you.
Yeah, I did.
We'll be here.
I did work at the candy store for 3 years. I was the manager of one of our stores, so like I could jump in, but I don't want to. I want to keep doing this. So
no.
Yeah.
Okay, are you an early bird or a night owl, or does that shift when your kids like get older?
I mean, I do think it kind of shifts. I definitely, like, as a younger person, was more of like a night owl sleeper inner. But as I've gotten, older, it's harder to sleep in. But I guess I require less sleep in general. So I'm usually up until like 11:30, but then I'm up at like 6:30. So it's the artist brain that won't turn off. That's part of the problem too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
What's your go-to snack during your creative time?
Well, it was gummy bears for a while, but then I went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, your blood sugar is like kind of silly, so you need to lay off the gummy bears.
Yeah, but they're free.
I know, exactly. So I like a do you guys have the Dots pretzels there that have like honey mustard on the pretzel? And they have like a cinnamon sugar version too.
Okay, well, I think they're called like nibs or something, like nuts. That sounds like the worst pretzel of all time.
Yeah, no, I think these are like
Dots. I think we do.
Yeah, Dots is
a
like
version.
It's like a brand, but yeah.
Oh, no, we don't have Dots pretzels. I don't think.
You need to. Are you in Saskatchewan? Is that where you're
I am? Well, I'm on the border of Saskatchewan and Alberta.
Okay. I was, of course, I was watching some of your content and looking at your page and everything. And my husband is Canadian.
Really?
Yeah. So he's from Ontario. And we're actually going to Ontario on Thursday. And we have not been to Canada. I have not been to Canada in we were trying to figure it out. I think like 8 years. So we're going up to see my in-laws. But I know that the brands are a little bit different from here and there, but yeah, it's like a flavored pretzel. They're really good.
Yeah. Can you get ketchup chips there?
We can now get ketchup chips, but it's kind of like a recent thing.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's like pretty new.
Yeah.
The whole chip thing is kind of new. Yeah, like the flavored chips.
What? Oh my gosh.
I mean, we had like the standard like barbecue, sour cream and onion, that kind of thing, but not like Canada.
World flavors.
Right.
Okay, are you messy or organized in your studio?
I think people would probably say that I'm organized.
I'm going to say it by looking at it right now. Yeah.
But I would say this is the messiest room in my house. My house is very organized, and this room is like ish. It's like organized-ish.
You should have seen my studio yesterday because I started getting into murals the last 5 years. And so I was so busy that it just like there was like mountains and piles of like workshops, mural stuff, like out and about and not in here. And I was just like, I can't anymore. I have 3 boys who are young. And I was just like, I need my own, like, I need my me space back. So I did an overhaul. And I was actually in a different podcast studio upstairs, but now I've moved it back down. So messy. It's gross, but like cool. I was like, this floor needs to be photographed and blown up somewhere into like a cool show.
It's art. It's art.
It's art in itself. We like shot products in here a couple years ago, and I'm like, move the product. Let's take all these, whatever you took of my floor.
Right.
Like we use the floor as the backdrop. Okay.
That sounds super cool though.
Yeah. I don't know. I like tagged the MoMA. They didn't get back to me.
Oh, dude. They missed out.
Yeah. If you could travel back, this is the last fun question. Then I want to get into like you and then the topic. If you could travel in time to any art movement, where would you go?
You know what? I would probably go back to the 80s to like the street art. Because I was born in 75, so I was like a child in the 80s, but I am very interested in street art, and I love, like Basquiat. Like I would like to go back and experience that, I think.
I'm going to turn this around. This is how my sons create. You'll just love that.
Yes, I do love that, actually. I do love that.
Where every child in the neighborhood gets to color on a wall and not be yelled at about it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. There's like 56 kids in here. So sometimes when I do let them in, they're like, yes.
56 kids is like so many kids. That's so many kids. They're all neighborhood kids?
Yeah. Well, it's like a horseshoe crescent by a school.
Wow.
So we got really lucky. Yeah.
So
okay, let's go back to your preschool background. Yeah. And then how did you evolve into moving into full-time?
Into this. So I was a preschool special ed teacher. So I had gone back and gotten a master's degree in special ed, and I was teaching preschool, and I absolutely loved it. I was obsessed with making art with my kids. Like we made tons and tons and tons of art. And we did a lot of sciencey type stuff too, but I really loved being a preschool teacher. And my son that I mentioned, who's autistic, he was the reason I kind of became a special ed teacher. And then he was getting older, and my husband and I had been thinking about like wanting to own a business forever. And as he was getting older, it was kind of becoming more and more clear that he was going to need some vocational skills training and like probably some help with having a job later in life. And it seemed to make sense to put the two together. And we happened to find this candy store. This was 8 years ago. We walked into a candy store. It's a soda pop and candy shop, so it's like kind of old timey. And we were like, this is the perfect family business. Like, what is more fun? And we had teenage sons at the time. So like, you know, it just kind of was perfect. So I decided to leave teaching to run the first store because we didn't want to lose my husband's income, because sadly teachers do not make as much money as corporate people.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know.
In the States, it should be ×3 or more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, so I was sad to leave teaching, but I was also like felt very confident that we were doing the right thing for the family. So I was running the store and it was doing well. We ended up with 3 more stores, and my husband left his corporate job and we kind of ran it together for a number of years. And after COVID, I was like, I don't like this. I don't want to do this anymore. Because COVID was a very stressful time. We were just like working every day doing deliveries, just trying to keep everything afloat. And it was really hard. And so had started my art business selling watercolor prints and stickers like right before COVID. Like I launched my website, I think in February 2020. And then I just got dumped into the chaos of COVID and couldn't really focus on the art business or making art. Like I wasn't making art at all really at that time.
Oh, wow.
And as things kind of came back around and I was able to like focus more on creating and on my business, I started a TikTok account, and it started to grow. And I was like, the only way I'm going to make a go of this art business is if I focus 100% on it and leave the candy business. So, and my husband was like, do it. He was like,
wow, that's cool.
Yeah, he was all for it. So
good move.
Yes. Yeah. He's super chill. He's always been a big supporter. Like he's always telling me I can do stuff that I'm not sure I can do. And so that kind of started with selling my own art and doing videos about like art business and how I was like just struggling along, turned into like people saying, okay, but how did you do it? Like, how did you make that thing? And I started talking more about watercolor. And then I started to do some kid projects from my teaching years. And that kind of took me to the next level in terms of growth on social media.
Yeah, tutorials are great.
Yeah, I mean, like my biggest like realization with social media was just that the only way that I was going to reach people was if I added value to their lives, right? So like, it's not enough to just show your own art. You have to teach people something or entertain them, or tell a story or like draw them in some way. And so the teacher part of me was like, well, I can teach stuff. And the tutorials just kind of went from there. And as time went on, I had people asking me to do an online class. And so I did my first watercolor class, and that did really well. And I was using products that were like from the craft store, like store-bought, stuff. And people wanted to use what I was using. So then that turned into like me directing people of like where to buy watercolor supplies. But I wasn't really confident in like always sending people to brands where I wasn't totally sure of like the brand behind it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. Yeah.
I guess I hadn't really thought through like what products I was using other than like, I like this thing. Right. So as we kind of like moved on, I was like, I think I need to make my own products where I know that they're like good quality products that are made the way that I want to make them, that are, you know, synthetic brushes that don't have animal hair, like specific things that I wanted in a product. And then it turned into an art supply business. And that's where we are now. So, yeah, it's just something that kind of like grew out of nowhere. And I don't really know how I got here, to be honest with you.
You just blinked. No, there's a lot to that. Like everything, like in your story, helped build where you were meant to go, even if those things didn't feel easy at the time.
Right. Exactly.
My mom worked with people with developmental disabilities, and then like home placement, and then getting out in the world for over 30 years, which is pretty cool. So it takes a special woman and person. And I think it is so important that you did that for your son. Like that's like a huge, amazing step. And that you changed your whole life, you know, like to make it happen for him. That's very neat.
I mean, we were really fortunate to be in a position to be able to do it. Like that's not lost on me at all. I know there are lots of families that would like to be able to do what we did, but you know, that's
also the leap though, the bravery, like giving up the corporate jobs or the full-time thing and being like, well, let's see. Like people usually don't cross that threshold, right?
I mean, it was a big risk. It was, I mean, and there were scary times, like when COVID happened, we were just like, well, how are we going to pay rent on these 4 spaces when we don't have any money coming in? And you want to continue to pay your managers, and like there, you know, there's costs even if you're not open. And it was very scary at the time. And we were in our 40s. So like, we weren't like
you were ready to be comfortable, but it went uncomfortable.
Yeah, it wasn't like we were just starting out, but yeah, I mean, it all worked out, and where we are now, it feels like the perfect spot for our family, because our older son actually works for the candy stores too. He's the district manager, so he finished college and he came back to the family business. So you know, the 3 of them all work together, and I'm off doing the art business thing, but my husband is helping more and more with that as that sort of scales up and grows. So everybody's got a hand in everything here, and I just feel really lucky to be able to do it.
Mm-hmm, for sure. So you built a big loyal following. And I imagine it wasn't always easy, but do you remember a time when you got like weird or negative feedback online?
For the most part, I'm really fortunate in that I feel like I've kind of cultivated a following of people who are very nice, and I have made a conscious decision to keep my content very, very safe. I don't talk about controversial stuff. I try to refrain from anything that's like political. And it's not that I don't think about it, but it's just that I want to be a safe place on the internet for people to come to like learn something, look at something pretty, have a laugh, whatever it is. And
yeah, well, okay, let's reframe it. Like people who think art should be really serious.
Right.
Because I like also try to create the safe space, but I also have people being like, you can't learn it that way. So have you ever had like that sort of like?
Yeah, I mean, there are always going to be people that have differing opinions about things.
For sure.
And I will frame this by saying, like, I look at comments right after I post something, and then I kind of stay out of it. Unless something's
ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, unless something's like really popping off and getting wild, I try not to pay too close of attention to it, because there will be people that say things about, you know, the way I'm putting down the paint, or like that I've labeled something incorrectly. Like there was a big fight in comments once because I called something a circle and somebody was like, that's an oval.
Oh no.
Like a lot of arguing about that. And I've only had to turn comments off once. And it was because people were arguing about a craft that I had done that was like around Pride time, and I had hashtagged it like Pride Craft because I thought it applied. It was a pair of rainbow shoes, and I thought that would be super cute for a Pride event, right? But people got real mad about that, big mad about that, and I
Oh, that's so sad.
it is sad. And my thing is, you can come at me all you want. You can say whatever you want to about me, and I might read it or I might not read it. But when you start fighting with each other and like threatening each other, that makes me feel bad about humanity. You know what I mean?
1000%. Yeah.
It puts everything into like a negative light that I don't want to sit in. And so that is, yeah, I turned comments off on that one.
Good for you. Yeah, I like how you said you're creating a safe space. And I think art, like, I hope more people turn to it. And when you show up every day and you show up weekly or whatever doing this, I think you're, doing your part.
Yeah. So I think when you said like people tell you not to do things a certain way, are you talking about like the tracing thing? I know you got.
Oh my gosh. Like that is a big one for, and even in the class, people get to the beginning of it and they're like, you said that artists could take it. I've had hundreds of artists take it and love it and enjoy, like, and there's a lot of content. And I don't know if you know, like the statistics of class sales. If you've ever looked into it, I'm not a math person, but I have a data analysis person who I pay. And so there's a certain percentage of people who will buy it, never take it. There's a certain percentage of people will get to this point and whatever. But I'm like, they like saw kids in there. So art world number like one thing where like, you're not a professional if you included kids in your practice. Number one, hate comes on there. Number two, this isn't the way you learn to draw. And it's not okay somehow. And then so I don't get a lot of these. Again, like it's the odd one, but they always stick out, unfortunately, upon the thousands and the hundreds of the positives.
Right.
And you know what? When they say that, I'm like, maybe I should explain better why.
Yeah.
This is a really empowering way to learn, because I am classically trained. I do have a degree, and I learned more about anatomy, portraiture, and get this, I wasn't taught florals in university or college. And I learned to draw florals through the method that I teach. So you can't tell me that this isn't a portrait, like last week, this isn't a portrait class. I was like, well, you've taken 5%. Like you haven't got to the part where we're talking about shading and drawing lips and how you shouldn't outline them just outright. And, like dive in there. If not, then it's you in the way. It's not me in the friendliest way I can say, which I think people are kind of their own biggest roadblocks. Do you feel that?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, the number of people that are like, I don't have this exact supply, so I can't do it. And I'm like, dude, you can pick up a crayon and it would be fine. Like, just use what you have. And that's like the first stumbling block to people is like, I don't have the right stuff. And you're like, you don't need a lot of stuff to begin to create. And then it's the I can't draw thing, I can't draw a stick figure. And you're like, well, the only way you're going to learn is by doing it. Like this concept that we're all born with innate talent or we're not. It's like you either do have it or you don't have it. is very frustrating to all of us who have worked very hard at developing those skills. You know, it is a matter of like mindset, of being open to the experience of making, and how do you allow yourself to just try it. So yeah, I get that. The 5%, you know, I did 5%, but I'm not going any farther. Well, you know,
I made this really quick judgment on what I bought for not very much money, I might add.
Yeah.
For the value of what's in it. Yeah. So sometimes like growth like has those pains. It really just does. And I think, but like as a sensitive creative, like I literally answer everyone and take everything to heart. So
definitely there for a while, and then it got to be too much, and I was like, I am either going to like let some of this go, like not read it all, or I'm eventually going to be like, well, I can't post anymore. Like if I have to read one more person telling me that like I need to pull my hair back, or my eyebrows are too far apart, or
what?
like any number of things, you know, okay. And then like the hair one gets me all the time, because and it's mostly on Facebook, but I'll get like I can't watch you with your hair in your face. And then I will wear my hair pulled back, and I get comments that are like, I can't stand when you pull your hair back. Well, I can't win. Right.
Oh no.
Yeah.
People are so weird.
Yeah. It's
oh my gosh.
You're like,
oh.
I just can't take it all on. I don't really enjoy reading the nice stuff to excess any more than I enjoy reading like the not nice stuff to excess. Like it just starts to like feel like too much. You know?
I have automations. I can't say I read everything, and I'm pretty much questioning. I'm like, I think I have to redo the workbook and take my personal email off and send it to as my manager has said, do you want me to take over? I think she sees, and when that thing crashed yesterday, she's like, do you want me to take over the emails that are from? And I think we should maybe just bite the bullet and do that.
Yeah.
Because like with a parent of young 3 boys in hockey, like I can't have a person who is frustrated by, like I can make her like an answer sheet and be like, this is what we say. And that's it. Like there's no refund on digital product. I'm sorry. And you should try to dive in, period. And, but okay, I want to get back to the art part. I love like the showing up anyway. When like your voice can feel critical or someone else's voice can feel critical. So what does that look like for you beyond creating content, but like a creative person? Like how do you show up for your creativity personally daily?
Well, so there was a time where I was fulfilling all of my orders myself for the business. And it was ramping up, which is fantastic. That's why we have businesses, right? But it was like between that and making content, I was not making any art for myself at all. So, and I feel like that went on for a very long time, like longer than I would like to admit. And you had mentioned the Spain trip. I took this art retreat to Spain, and I was so excited about it. And I came back. There were a lot of factors with that trip that did not go right. But I came back from that trip feeling so defeated, and like I was in a total art funk at that point, partially because I felt like I don't remember how to make art that's just my art. Like I took this big trip to Spain, and I was like, I haven't had any personal growth in my art in the last 2 years. I barely know what to make when I get the choice. because I've been so dialed into like, what can I make that I can teach people that will be doable for them? So that was like a big turning point for me where I was like, okay, I think I've got to like refocus on making stuff for myself. And it wasn't really until this past July when I started doing my order fulfillment at a warehouse that I got a bunch of time back. And now I'm like, I have time to make things that I want to make. I have time to like grow my own art practice. And now how do I do that? Like, what is the path? And there are definitely days where I'm like, I'm not really sure like what to do next. And I always try to go back to like what I tell other people. What is the advice that I give to like my Patreon members or people online when they say like, I'm not inspired, or I just don't know what to make, or, you know, all of those things that we tell ourselves in the creative process. And I go back to like things like taking classes or doing tutorials. I still do tutorials all the time. Even as a person who's teaching tutorials, like I've been trying to refocus on oil paint recently. And, you know, I don't really know how to do it.
No.
And
it could stop you. Like, not like that's like everyone else. It's like I used to work in oils a ton, but then I had little kids and then they would dip their hands in it and I'd have to wash it off their bodies, and because they're used to painting with the Crayola paints, so they're like, this is the same. So
you're like,
that's definitely gathering dust. But it's so rich. It's so rich and luscious, and like there's something about it. But yeah, it's the extra step of the like acrylics just aren't the same in that regard. But yeah, they're just a little more time consuming, right? I did that with watercolors. People are like, we really want to do watercolors at this cheesery like floral event. I was like, yeah, I've never actually painted floral watercolor.
Oh, really?
So, but 2 nights sold out.
Yeah.
And like when some people never come to your art show, but your night sells out, you're like, I better learn to paint some watercolor flowers. So for like weeks, I was taking other people's tutorials just online. And you know what? It was a total blast. I've studied watercolors. Like I know how they work. I just haven't personally done it in a long time. And so like, you know, basics.
That's a very good point though, because I do get the comment from people a lot that are like, I watch every single one of your videos, but I've never like tried it. Which I get that there are people who like to consume art content who don't necessarily make art, but
they save it all.
But you have to actually pick up a brush and try to do it. Like that's the only way that you're gonna learn. And with the oil paints, it's like I was painting in oil before watercolor. I took classes with a local artist for about 2 years, and I was really into that. That was right before we started the candy business. And then when we started the candy business, I was like, this is too much. Like I can't handle the setup, the cleanup, the heaviness of oil paint. And that's when I started watercolor. And I think that is part of it too, right? That's being able to know yourself well enough to say like, maybe it's the medium that's holding me back from creating. Like maybe I need to shift to something that feels more doable. Like maybe I need to just pick up a colored pencil and start there if everything else feels too overwhelming to me. Or maybe I need to get some, paper and just start cutting stuff up and start doing collage. Like there is an element of just knowing yourself and knowing what you can handle at that particular time. So for me, like coming back after being so busy and so focused on teaching other people, in my mind, I was like, I'm going to go back to oil because oil was my thing. That was always my thing. I never really put that out there. And so
did you like hit burnout with that?
With
Like
oil or with
no, with the like the shipping all the products and the before you.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I had a bit of meltdown where I was just like, I cannot keep up with the orders. I cannot physically keep up with the orders and make content and manage customer service and manage the class and do Patreon and have a son who still lives with me and requires some level of assistance from time to time. Like,
yeah, I think people forget you're like a human and it's not just this one thing you do.
Yeah. So the hiring the 3PL to do the order fulfillment was really like a life-changing thing that happened for me this year. And I've made more art since July than I have made in probably the last 3 years. Like it's just now it's a constant thing. And I think that's another part of creativity that people don't realize is that it ebbs and flows. You know, and you have periods of your life where you are very creative and very inspired and have the bandwidth in your life to do it. And then there are times where everything else in your life is taking up too much space and it can be really hard to fit it in. And I think people beat themselves up for that. Like, I should be doing more of whatever it is, knitting or, you know, painting or ceramics or whatever. And the reality is sometimes you don't have it.
No. Shonda Rhimes just did like or I don't know when she did it, when her speech was, but to a university, those like graduation speeches. And she said, always like, you're never going to be the best at the one thing because especially if you're a woman, she's like, I'll either be a good mom at the preschool play and I'll miss the last filming of the last season of Grey's Anatomy. Right. Or I'll be a really good script writer and I'll dive in for 2 months, but someone had to pick up like the stuff that happened with the kids and I wasn't a great mom then. Right. And then like, or, you know, like, you're right, it ebbs and flows for everyone. Especially if you're really following your heart and your passion and like your gut and you're willing to put yourself out there continually, because it really is about just, you know, letting your fanny hang out in the wind. Like, you know?
Yeah, it really is. It's yeah, it's a social media really is just like, it just keeps churning, you know, it just keeps going. And like, it's a machine that's never stops.
Satisfied. Yeah. So I guess you have to put up personal boundaries around it.
Yeah. When I started TikTok, first of all, I will say, like, I am a person that has a very addictive brain. I get addicted to things super fast. And I put up my first TikTok and I think I got like 8,000 views on my first TikTok and I got like 20 orders off of it. And I was like, nice. Okay, this is something. I'm going to post every day for 30 days and see what happens. And I posted every day for 30 days and I can't even remember. I feel like it was like 7,000 followers at the end of 30 days. Like, I started off well. And that fed that part of my brain that was like, it's an immediate response, right? It's immediate, like, affirmation. And I just kept going. And I posted every day for 2 years. I missed like 3 days in 2 years. And at that point, the business had started to ramp up to a point where I was like, I can't physically make content every day and run the business. So I cut it back to like every other day. And then I cut it back to 3 times a week. And I've kind of maintained that 3 times a week momentum, I guess. But also I think my content has gotten more complicated, and the tutorials take longer to film and plan, and and I have Patreon now, so I do videos for that too. So it's just kind of become like a natural progression to slow down the content a little bit. But I always feel like I can't stop, because my business is based off the content, and I don't want to let people down. Like that's always.
I know I had dinner with my aunt and uncle, and they're like, I think they're late 50s, and like traditional business owners, etc. And I'm just like, oh, it was Sunday now. I'm like, I'm tired, and like, you don't get the days off. He's like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, if I don't create the content, like no one's gonna pick it up for me, like, and then I don't sell the classes and the things and and that's very important. And but it is people that we have that option,
right
too.
Right. I know. I'm like, I saw a video not long ago where the lady was like, I make up the chores, but I'm the one that has to do the chores. Like, how is that fair? And it's so true, because like I'll get stressed out about something, and then like, so my best friend Lacey is also a content creator, watercolor artist. She and I talk all the time, and I'll be like, well, I have to do this and I have to do this, and she's like, but do you actually? And I'm like, well, this is what I've set up for myself. This is what I've told myself I'm going to do. And I do think that the reason I'm successful is because I follow through on those things, but also like, you don't have to do it, but nobody else is going to do it for you. So
no one's knocking at your door being like, hey, you. Well, sometimes that happens, but and you just write it all down and you keep it organized in many different ways. And that's what, but to be fair, when you do your things you say you're going to do, that's what sets you apart from the rest. Period.
I was going to say though, too, like, I do get people who comment about like being surprised that my kids are the ages that they are, which is very nice.
Well, you look young. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be 50 next month, but what I was going to say is that I don't know if I could do this if I did have young children at home. Like, what you're doing with 3 young kids is like infinitely harder. Infinitely.
Teddy did see my new space, or my old space, and I put all my favorite colored Prismacolor pencils here in a row, like 10 of them, and they're all gone. Teddy's sick, and he claims he's an art. Like, if his friends are like, let's go play baseball, and he's like, let's color. And the mom overheard the conversation, and he's like, did you know though that I'm an artist?
Oh.
So she's like, he won over and Brooke sat down to color with him for the first time ever. So it's very cool. It's neat. But yeah, like it's next level insane. We were at the hockey rink 242 times last season in the 9 months. On top of, we like own that like hardware business, and we own, you notice I've called it something different every time, whatever it is. And like it's something. But I think like your kids see you trying so hard. I think that's the best example you can really set for them, is like, I made a business with just my own ideas. I built something out of nothing. And if you're crazy enough, you can paint a 3,000 square foot mural. Did it all go swell? No. But like, still worked really hard, and it's still very cool. And now it'll be there for until.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
Yeah. So
no,
I think it's a fun life. You
And
made it up, and you're doing it.
Yeah, it definitely shows kids that there are many paths to success, right? And, you know, we went the very traditional route early on with corporate life and being a teacher, and like it was great. And we took a risk and we shifted, and now we're doing this. And is it like weird for my kids that their mom has a big following on social media? Maybe. You know, like, I don't know. When it is kind of funny when we were waiting on the first store to be built out, I had said I wasn't going back to teaching that year because I didn't want to start a year that I knew I couldn't finish. And so I had like 6 months where I didn't have a job and I didn't have the store. And one of our neighbors had just had a baby, and she was like, I need a nanny for this baby for like 4 months. And I was like, sure. Like, that sounds great. Why not? I've got time. Give me your newborn and I will be the nanny. And then I had another friend reach out who was like, hey, she had a preschool curriculum. And she was like, I need somebody to write a blog and do content for this preschool curriculum. And I was like, sure, I'll do that. And my son was like, he was like 16 at the time, my oldest. And he was like, wait, so you're a nanny blogger? And I was
so
like,
you did it? You followed through on those things?
yeah, I did both of like 6 months. And I was like, you know, what else? Like, I'm not going to sit around for 6 months. I'm going to make some money. If I can make some money to help get this business going, and why not do it? Like, you know, I have been many things.
Yeah.
In my
several different hats.
Yeah. And they all add value in some way.
And you have the wherewithal and the ability to really actually do whatever you focus on. So that's really great advice. My son told me he was going to save for his first car by being an actor/model. And we kind of laughed at him. And then I was like, whoa. In my brain, I was like, stop for a second. Because people laughed at you when you were little. I made fun of you when you said these crazy things when I did. And so I was just like, you know what? Yes. If that's what you, and then he got a call because he's on this little like thing with I signed him up because he had told me that. And then he hadn't got a call yet, a casting call. And 2 days later, he got a casting call. I was like, words are power.
That's right. You just manifested a job. So.
And now I have to submit all these freaking audition tapes, and we're going to record him like playing baseball later. And I'm like, what did I'm creating a little monster.
I know.
Exactly. But it's cool. Okay. One final question. I feel like I could talk to you all freaking day, but life is calling. I'm going to the art academy. Oh, and I wanted to say one thing about putting yourself out there, because my kids call me cringe all the time because I'm just like, I love you. And like
cringe.
So nice. But I run an art academy at their school just 2 days a week because that would be burnout. And I showed up to the teenagers and I was like, and I make them do funny stuff like dance in the field just to like really embarrass them. And my advice, because we do daily, it's not called meditation because it's in a school, but we make space for 3 minutes when they all get there and breathe deeply and like talk about how powerful creativity is. And so my advice last day was, I was like, you guys have to like be cringe. Like you have to just be a little bit cringe, and like cool things will happen. Like I totally swear.
It's so true though. It's so true. Yeah.
Okay. Final question, sponsored by Red Bicycle Communications. If you had unlimited funds for your community for one day, I feel like you're already doing this with a candy store, but for one day, what would you do?
Unlimited funds for the community? I don't know. That's a really hard question. I will say this, like coming from a suburban area where we were in a neighborhood to living in the city, like it's not like downtown Atlanta, but we're in the city, you know, we're a half mile from the square. there is a homeless population here, and I see the same unhoused people all the time. I would definitely do something for them. I don't know what that would look like, but I feel like with the right resources, we could be doing more for our unhoused friends, for
I
sure.
love that. Thank you. With that big mural project, the 3,000 square foot one, we were in a place where they definitely took our signs and things for tents. And so, but like, honestly, talk to a lot of them one-on-one, day after day, because we're there sun up and sun down in the dirt and the rain and the whatever. Murals are not for the faint of heart. And like, so we had meal sponsors, so we would always give our like leftover meals, and we chat with like Rick from Not Here, and like just like it's just like for some people, like they are like harmless. They just have gotten to a unique place in their lives. And so I like that you said that and gave it heed, and who knows, maybe something cool might happen, and or start an initiative or be able to donate, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that.
Getting to be it's getting to be like more visible, I think, here, which hopefully will lead to some change. But
absolutely, put it out there.
That's right.
It'll happen. Creativity is powerful, so totally believe in that. Thank you for coming. I know a lot of guests already know who you are, but where can we all find you? Check out your Patreon, your classes, and all the good things.
Yeah, so I'm andrea.nelson.art on pretty much every platform: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. And then I'm also the same at Patreon and on Teachable. So if you Google like Andrea Nelson Art online classes, you can find me. And my website is hard to remember.
It's a bit different. I noticed that. I was like,
what you were like?
Okay.
Yeah.
We're
in the process of rebranding, and we are renaming the company, and the brand is getting a whole new look. I just came from a branding meeting, but for right now, it's adreamoradaart.com. And that just comes from my oldest. When he was 3 and something was really, really good, he would say, "Mommy, is it a dream or a day?"
Oh,
like always stuck with me, that like I wanted my days to feel so good that it felt like a dream, and that is what happens for me when I make art. So
I love that.
But it is hard to spell and say and type and
remember. Yeah, no, I like it. That can be your like quotation on the like under, you know, and maybe if you want to learn more about our story, have it in there, right? That would be cute.
Yeah.
And a way to stick to on brand or whatever.
That is where to go to shop the supplies. But everything else, Andrea Nelson Art.
That's great. I can't remember if it was Teddy or Finn, because it gets all blurry with the 3 kids, but someone would always, I'd be like, "Look at the gorgeous sunset tonight," which I do say a lot, but they'd be like, "Let's go there."
Oh, that's
or yeah. Or "I'll miss you tomorrow." Teddy always used to say that before we went to bed. "I'll miss you tomorrow."
Oh.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. And I gotta write these things down. I had it. First son had a life log. So I'm 7 years behind.
That's okay. You've done something. I think they'll let it go.
Wait, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out on Instagram at Brandi Hofer Studios anytime. I'm happy to chat. That's where I sit, and I'm so glad you're here, and I cannot wait for you to dive in. So give us a like and subscribe, and check the rest of our channel.
If you want to feel empowered and inspired, like and subscribe for more. And if you want to get creative, check out all our art hacks on this channel.